Chapter 5. Another strange visit. You've awakened with a strange feeling. Welcome back to Dishonored 2. And if I would have to speculate on another strange visit, I would have to say... Somebody made me tea. That's not what I would have to say. I would have to say that, well... In Dishonored 1, after the big... the moment where the people who were with you just poison you and dump you. After that, you also have a brief visit by the outsider in the void. But are we really there yet? I mean, half of me would be annoyed with that, and half of me would be, well, semi-happy because, well, I would personally really like it if I could finish this game before the school time starts again, and I'll have literally practically no time to record again. Okay, let's hope that is the void and not... oh, okay, the entire... But yeah, let's hope that is the void and not the witches taking...
The void, but somehow different this time.
Well, at least the witches didn't get to us yet. Darker. Ooh, I have an idea about this. So the next thing is going to be the death of the outsider. Did that happen already? Is that a person? No. It was just a strange illusion with just some things lining up right enough that it makes a person figure shapy thing. Something strange about this void. I mean, there's organic in it. Organic is normally not really something associated with the void. Well, at least not the last time we saw it.
Surprised I can pull you into this place? The outsider marked me long ago.
Oh boy.
I made you flee your precious tower and turned your father into cold stone. How difficult for you. But when I was young, sweet Jessamine and I were close as sisters, sharing a secret. Emperor Coldwin had another daughter, born in shame to a kitchen maid.
Am I dreaming? If not, how is Delilah doing this?
Alright, so in the Bridgemore Witches, we did see that she could go into the void via paintings, because, well, there her magic worked for a large part via paintings, but, or at least her big thing was via paintings.
But I want to come to Jessamine.
I told you, you're older. That's next year.
You said that last year. Jessamine's younger than me, and she's a court every day.
Isn't this... well, it's complicated. We'll understand someday.
What did I do? I'll be good. I swear.
Next year, I promise.
Alright, on one side, it's possible that Delilah is just pulling out all of this out of her ass. I mean, that would make sense to kind of disbalance us, but for some reason I don't think that's the case. As much sense as that would make.
During the day, Jessamine and I played games in the tower. But at night, I'd go back to the servants' quarters to cockroaches and thin gruel. Emperor Daddy would visit and tell me if I was good. Next year I'd be old enough to come to court to be a princess. Then one day, pretty Jessamine broke something worth a fortune, and the spy master caught us. She claimed I did it, and he whipped me in the garden house until I bled. My mother lost her kitchen job, and that night we were out on the streets with no place to sleep. I didn't forget.
Would you like to tell me your name?
We were just playing.
Young Lady Jessie. What is your account?
It was her! Delilah's life. She broke it.
Okay, you really fault kids for... I mean, kids will just try to stay out of dodge themselves. Can you really fault them for something like that at that age? And alright, it sucks that you were thrown out of the palace, but this is not the right thing to do. This is not the right course of action. Because if it is true what she's saying, that she is the older sister of Jessamine Goldwyn, that means that she just killed her sister's, well, practically killed her sister's husband and exiled her own, what do you call it, nephew, is that word? By the way, full picture French.
Mother and I saw the nastiest parts of Dunwall, ending up in debtor's prison. Jessamine died quick on an assassin's blade, but my mother lingered for weeks after a fat guard broke her jaw. They threw me out when she died. I looked up at the lights of Dunwall Tower and swore revenge. Washing bedsheets in a brothel, I painted on the side, until Anton Sokolov took me as a student. That's the polite word for it. I was crafty even before the outsider marked me, and survived the worst the Empire could offer. Now it's your turn.
My mother's sick. She needs help.
Your mother kicked off while you were out begging. She's another bag of bones now, girl.
What? No!
Your sentence is served and she'll be tossed out with the others. You can't stay here anymore.
Okay. I mean, the outsider does prefer... Well, the outsider does prefer people who are crafty, who are thrown into a horrible situation. I mean, for instance, Corvo in the first game getting out of prison after being sentenced to death and being one day away from it. Emily, after she's, well, basically an exile, prisoned, everything, and then getting away. And, well, I do kind of like this. This gives Delilah slightly more motive than I just want to rule the world. Of course, I'm still not saying that it's the right thing to do, but there's a reason for it now.
It's hard to know whether my dear old aunt is telling the truth or not.
On one side, why lie about it? Well, on the other side, very simple. You want to throw your enemies off balance, and declaring yourself as family makes it kind of harder to kill you. Then again, she seemed to have no problem with killing her family, so why not? Although, I mean, she didn't kill Corvo, even though she definitely had a chance. I mean, in the first game, she did want to basically inhabit the mind of Emily, which you could consider the same as killing her, but you could also not. Meet with Megan Foster and Anton Sokolov to discuss the next step in our efforts to take down Delilah and the Duke of Sarkonos.
When I was young, the Loyalist conspiracy that kidnapped me also took Anton Sokolov. They brought him to the pub where I was being held and locked him in a cage meant for dogs. And you know what? Sokolov laughed at them. He taught me lessons and told me funny stories. He seemed immortal. His mind shaped our age. That's changed. The old man I rescued doesn't talk much. He eats what we give him, groans in his sleep, coughs out blood. I thought he'd tell me the secret to defeating Delilah and saving the Empire. But I'm not even sure he knows where he is.
I don't think there's a secret trick to saving the Empire.
I'm with you, even in the void. If only I could do more.
Mother? That wasn't a dream, was it?
Am I to blame for Delilah's bitterness?
No. She's the one who orchestrated the coup.
Our decisions have weight. I feel my time drawing to an end soon.
Well, yeah, our actions have consequences, but that does not mean that we are responsible for all the choices other people make. If me calling somebody on the internet a twat suddenly makes them kill 40 people, that does not make me responsible for killing 40 people. I mean, you can definitely make some arguments for either side in this, but I mean, you have part of the blame, but you are not fully to blame. It's complicated and political and definitely questionable everything, and yeah, I'll try to keep that kind of stuff out. I do enough of that moral, questionable kind of stuff and everything in my free time, because that's what my mind likes to do. Oh boy. Okay, happy times, no wait, depressing times, Dishonored. Thank you. It's something I should say to your face, but that's hard for me. Thank you for what you did, bringing Anton back. What would I have done without him? Puttering around the ship, mumbling and stroking his greasy beard. I wanted to find him on my own, but hearing what you went through, I'm impressed. And enjoy this bottle from the captain's reserve. Good stuff. I got from an aristocrat, wanting quick passage out of Kanaka a while back. You'll need it now that Anton is back, if you want to sleep. His snoring cut straight through the bulkhead. You're welcome. The Royal Conservatory. Sokolov is safe. I rescued Sokolov. The man spent years serving my family, educating me both in intellectual subjects and broady humor. And now a small part of what I owe him has been repaid. I'm just sorry I can't offer him more comfortable accommodations. The dreadful whale, dank and cramped as it is our home for now. He's been living here with Megan for years, but in his current condition, I wish we could make him more comfortable. I was able to stop Karen Jindosh. Her weaponized mind won't be a threat now. His thoughts scattered and his memories destroyed. By his own device, no less. When Sokolov is feeling better, maybe he'll have an opinion on whether I did the right thing or not by not killing Jindosh outright. Yeah, this is also an interesting one to me. And now a small part of what I owe him has been repaid. I always have questions on how much do you owe people? I mean, if they chose to do something for you, does that mean that you owe them, or... I mean, they chose to do it, though. I mean, is it then all a choice to do something back, or do you really owe them? And yeah, that's always a nice thing. Yeah, my mind loves going on ramblings like this and just keeping me awake till... Well, not really keeping me awake, but more keeping my thoughts away from whatever is really important at the time. Anyway, it's a relief to know the last clockwork soldiers remaining in the Empire are the only ones there will ever be. Yeah, until somebody finds out how to make them. There are other natural philosophers. But it's good to know that for now, at least, the supply is even more limited than it already was. I dreamed of Delilah Copperspoon. No, this was more than a dream. I was in the void, but this time a void with actual organic things in it, which is definitely very fitting with how Delilah is dressed, and even more fitting with how the Bridgemore witches looked. Somehow Delilah brought me there. I don't know if she was showing me the true past or a fabrication. She spoke of my grandfather, Emperor Johann Jacob Goldwyn. History says he was a man of honor who served his people, but Delilah showed me all his promises unfulfilled, all those easy lies, and she showed me my mother, Jessamine, as I never imagined her, spoiled and petty, entitled, and finally a great injustice. Delilah's mother dying in the debtor's prison. I have so many questions, but how do I sort out the truth from the lies? So if this was going to be anything, I mean, if I'm going to believe anything, it will be this is how Delilah views the past. Meaning that it's based in truths, but details will be wrong. I mean, probably a case where Jessamine wasn't quite as petty and quite as, how did you call it? Quite as spoiled. I mean, it's very hard not to become that when you are literally going to become the next Empress, the next ruler of the entire world. I mean, as a kid, that is kind of a case of, yay, I'm going to have all the power in the world. Until later you also realize that with a lot of power, yeah, indeed comes responsibility, because, oh shit, everybody is relying on me, help, fuck, ah. But yeah, I think this is probably Delilah's view on the past, but, well, it is a true past. Oh, these are trophies from... Oh, of course, yeah. These are trophies from what we did. I mean, we took out Ramsey, the Doctor, and Jindosh. Would they be slightly different if we actually started killing? Would we then start collecting heads and hands and stuff like that, perhaps? Great, rats.
Jindosh wanted me to help him with a rather complicated problem. It would have enabled him to make his clockwork soldiers at a fraction of the cost. Clever man.
Not clever enough. What's wrong with people like that?
A restless mind and an empty heart, perhaps. Jindosh would have snuffed me out as soon as he got bored. I appreciate what Emily did for me, freeing me from that place.
I searched for you, Anton. I would have found you.
I knew you'd try, Megan. They kept me going after they gave me to Jindosh.
Either way, you're back now. I'm glad.
slightly...
The Empress has risen. A peaceful sleep, I hope. Nothing like the pillows at Dunwall Tower, made of goose feathers.
Sit down when you want to talk.
Yeah, just half a second. I just want to say that I love how they made so many unique animations for Megan Foster as she only has one arm. That's just so much extra work they went through that. Well, let's just say that it is really appreciated.
Anton, when I brought you back, you could barely speak. But it's been 3 days.
They tortured him. His body is covered with bruises.
Delilah has the throne, and my father is... missing. This is Anton Sokolov, the greatest mind in the Empire.
No, Emily. Megan is right. I can make electricity move from one side of the room to the other, but Delilah is beyond my understanding. When I came to Sarkonos, I meant to leave everything behind. But when the assassination started, I couldn't ignore it. By the time Megan and I connected the murders to the Duke, it was too late. The Crown Killer came for me. It kept me alive from my knowledge, but I saw things. Jindosh often had a visitor, Brianna Ashworth.
She's the curator of the Royal Conservatory.
Yes, Ashworth is dangerous, as obsessed with the occult as Delilah. Apparently, she's working on a device called the Oraculum.
There's more to her than either of you know.
If Ashworth is one of Delilah's lieutenants, I need to eliminate her. Who knows what this device is capable of, or what she's up to.
Megan knows quite a bit more.
Meet me at the skiff when you want to set out for the Royal Conservatory.
I mean, yeah, this is Megan, but well, that's also it's also Billy Lurk, and well, Billy Lurk kind of started working together with Delilah in the Knife of Dunwall, so. I bet she knows more than she lets on, because, well, it's a past she... I don't know if she's proud of it, but she clearly wants to hide. Oh, I didn't think we read part 1 yet. Yes, right back into the reading. A Reflection on My Journey to the Bendician Continent 1 by Anton Sokolov. Introduction. A colleague of mine owns a stunning map of the known world. Adorned with the colliculus and sea beast. It had a cherished spot over her mantle. She prayed handsomely for it, and it was so restful when I enumerated the various errors. Chief among them, of course, the size and placement of the Bendician continent. Oh no, I have already read this one. Anton Sokolov's diary. Started painting again. My faults there, here and there. My faults dart here and there. I am at the whim of my aging brain. I smell an orange and it triggers a memory. All at once, I'm a boy back in school, suffering under the cruelty of Professor Oliphant. Alright, this is a really strange plot, because Oliphant is practically the same as the Dutch word olifant, which is the Dutch word for... oh god, what are those things called? Elephant, that's the word. Yeah, I thought it was something really different, but I'm just staying after that, but really, Professor Elephant, alright. Her horrible wigs and the smell of old wood. Of old wool. The wool reminds me of my suits. I used to have them custom made. The suits remind me of that of that I once was a man of position. Then I'm thinking of my own cruelties, terrible deeds, performed in the name of science, progress, or profit. And then I'm flooded with regrets and guilt. Then just as suddenly, I'm hungry or thinking about my niece or nap. And if I could quiet my mind and apply myself to a task, say painting, like today, it's of little use. I find it odd that at a time when I thought I might enjoy some rest, expand on my paintings, that my eyes are not as sharp as they need be, and my hands quiver unexpectedly. The smell of paint assaults my nose and muddles my thoughts. Did they always smell so? Still, I've begun work on a canvas. I have no name for it yet.
I have trouble remembering my mother's face sometimes. But there might be some resemblance.
Painted from memory. While trying to learn more about what the Duke of Sarkonos was up to, I began hearing a name I hadn't heard in almost 2 decades. Delilah Copperspoon. We painted together for a time, but her obsession with the occult and the Caldwin family took her out of my circles.
I saw some of her paintings. Beautiful, but somehow sinister.
You knew Delilah? All this time traveling with you and you never mentioned
My
that?
past is none of your business. You don't own everything, Empress.
Another life, another life. Megan came to Karnaca to reinvent herself. Maybe I did as well, but the Duke of Sarkonos had other ideas.
That's what I said. Well, if it wasn't confirmed yet, then it's confirmed now. It's definitely... yeah, that's definitely the look. What's that? What's that mechanical head in there? Strange. Oh yeah, this was Sokolov's room. Sorry about your blood flies. I mean, I feel like, well, how harsh should we be on Megan? Temporary closure of the Conservatory. Dear patrons, due to an alarming increase in the mite population, and with the full knowledge and approval of the Dugan Gabel himself, the Royal Conservatory will remain closed for the foreseeable future. Our apologies. B. Ashworth, Curator.
One of the more elaborate structures in Karnaca, closed to the public. More of the Duke's questionable rulership. It'll be good to see the Royal Conservatory, even if it's closed to the public.
So we'll be able to travel from either there or... oh no, those are canals. Canals, however you want to pronounce it. So we can probably drive all the way up to here.
There's a spark in your eyes. Something other than hate, which surprises me given all that's happened.
It doesn't get you very far. Nothing on the to-do list today?
For a man of his age, Sokolov's making better progress than I would have expected.
Well, it is Sokolov.
Good to see you're still with us. Thank you for helping, Anton.
Sokolov's not the only one making a rapid recovery. I'll be good enough to leave soon. There's a lot to do. Of course, unless the Duke falls, he'll undo my best efforts here.
Then we'll have to make sure Duke Luca Abel doesn't overstay his welcome.
Karnaka's key leaders are flawed, for certain. After all this is settled with the Duke, and the time of the coup has passed, whichever ones are left standing could change things here. Consider that, as you come face to face with the Duke's remaining associates.
I appreciate your thoughts on the matter, Alexandria.
Yeah, I'm not... I don't... The plan is not to murder people. But, well... Let's see how possible it is to get everybody out of this alive. Letter from Lukey Pasta. Dear Dr. Empathia, I couldn't be happier about the news you gave me. The people here in this district desperately need someone like you. I understand that you cannot see patients in the mire anymore, and that it is too dangerous to go back to your apartment. I'll arrange something. We'll find you a safe place to hide and give free consolations, as you suggested. I'll send word about it via the minor family committee and some friends I have at the Silver Spike newspaper. Welcome back to the city. Lukey Pasta. Oh, that's very nice. It's good to see that everybody is still making progress. It's not just, I mean, I do like these little ship scenes, because now you're not just, things aren't just, it's not just that the world is less just completely dark. You also really see the effect of you saving people. It's just very appreciated. The old whaling ships. So I guess in the next episode we'll go and take out what's her name? Well, towards the Royal Conservatory to take out Delilah's. Don't think she was in the coven, because then the chance that she came out very well after the out was done with her is rather small, but well, basically Delilah's partner in the void. So that will be fun.